What is up, guys? EJ here, back with another video, and today it's going to be my DVD collection 2016 and the family section, or kids movies. So up first, they're really tight in here. We have Adventures in Babysitting from 1987, featuring Elizabeth Shue. I loved this movie when I was a kid growing up, and still a great film. The little girl who adores Thor. Back then, I didn't think I'd ever see Thor on screen. This film directed by Christopher Columbus. I'm going to leave it up there for now, so I have a little bit more room to operate. Okay, up next we have The Brat Patrol from 1986, fun film featuring Sean Astin, back in the day, Disney movie. I still don't know if this even has a proper DVD release. I should look into that, to be honest. But yeah, this is a really poor transfer from a VHS. But I wore the VHS cassette copy out at the video rental store back in England, where I used to rent that movie. I'd watch it like all the time. I loved it growing up. Up next we have Babe, a classic film from 1995. Yeah, really good movie about a talking pig, of course. Up next we have the Back to the Future trilogy. Yeah, the first one from 1985 with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, just classic. Leah Thompson, wonderful as well. Yeah, the second one from 1989, still enjoyed that movie. And Back to the Future 3 from 1990. I still haven't seen in a long time. I don't remember much about it. Okay, up next we have Batteries Not Included from 1987. Steven Spielberg presents Matthew Robbins film with Hume Cronin and Jessica Tandy. Really fun. Loved that film growing up as well. Up next we have Billy Elliot from 2000s. Great performance by Jamie Bell. Just a really fun, uplifting film. Julie Walters, fantastic as well. Some really fun scenes in that film that I like. Up next we have BMX Bandits from 1983, the first film that Nicole Kidman starred in. Yeah, great fun movie about set in Australia about three BMX bandits who rob a bunch of criminals of walkie-talkies, and it's sort of a chase movie. It's got some fantastic chase scenes, some good humor. I remember the chase through the cemetery in particular with the mass, kind of scary, really fun, kind of cheesy, but I loved it growing up. Okay, up next we have Bridge to Terabithia, Disney film from 2007. Yeah, fantastic performances by Anna Sophia Robb and Josh Hutcherson. This film was really sort of poorly marketed as a fantasy movie, but it's a great film about friendship and the power of a child's imagination. Wonderful movie. Okay, up next we have Dr. Seuss's The Cat in the Hat from 2003 with Mike Myers and who's it? Dakota Fanning is the little girl on that. Yeah, she's fun. The movie isn't great, but I still enjoy Mike Myers. Kind of like The Grinch. It wasn't great. Up next we have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory from 2005. Of course, Tim Burton film with Johnny Depp and Freddie Highmore. It has its moments, but not as good as the original, of course. Up next we have E.T. the Extraterrestrial from 1982, Steven Spielberg classic, great 2-disc limited collector's edition. One of my favorite films growing up as a kid, with Dee Wallace and Peter Coyote. Just a fantastic film, never gets old. Up next we have Enchanted from 2007. Yeah, fun movie with a really fun performance by Amy Adams. Beautiful musical numbers, just a smart and funny and kind of cute movie that I enjoyed a lot. Up next we have Explorers from 1985. Great film directed by Joe Dante with River Phoenix, Ethan Hawke, and that other guy that nobody remembers, but I loved this film growing up as a kid. Yeah, just a great fun movie. Okay, up next we have Flight of the Navigator from 1986. Yeah, fantastic film as well. I'd often watch this and Explorers together, because they're quite similar. Yeah, about a kid who ends up in a spaceship that takes him on a sort of joyride. Really cool film, actually. It sort of has some family drama, interesting scenes involving that. Great movie. Up next, we have Flipped. Yeah, really underrated film from 2010 on Blu-ray, directed by Rob Reiner. Sort of the same kind of coming-of-age story like Stand By Me. Not as good as that film, but I like the girl in it. I thought she was really good. Yeah, surprising film from 2010. And finishing up this little section, we have The Goonies. Of course, this great box set. Fantastic Richard Donner film, of course, produced by Steven Spielberg. Loved this film growing up. Sean Astin, Corey Feldman, Ke Huy Quan from Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, Josh Brolin, Kerry Green, Martha Plimpton. Just a fantastic film. Alright, up next we have Goosebumps on 3D Blu-ray. With Jack Black, yeah, from 2015. Just picked this up in my recent update. Yeah, really loads of fun. Like I said in that video, it really reminded me of those films from the 80s and early 90s that I grew up watching. Okay, up next we have Harry and the Hendersons from 1987. Yeah, really fun film directed by William Deere, starring John Lithgow. The ending always breaks my heart when they sort of send Harry back into the wilderness and he hits him in the face, and oh, it always makes me cry at that moment. Up next we have the Herbie 4-movie collection, The Love Bug. The first film from 1968, fantastic, and then the 3 sequels: Herbie Rides Again, Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo, and Herbie Goes Bananas. Or Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo is probably my favorite of the sequels. Don't have the new Herbie movie that Lindsay Lohan starred in. I didn't really care for it. Where the hell is Gremlins? Why is Gremlins over here? Okay, let's do some rearranging. That was like way out of place. Okay, Gremlins from 1984, of course. Another classic from the 80s, just a very cute movie, loads of fun, directed by Joe Dante, of course. And I also have the sequel, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, from 1990. I haven't seen it in ages, so I don't remember much about it. Okay, up next we have Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, from 1989, of course, with Rick Moranis. Yeah, I loved this film growing up as well. Yeah, I didn't get the sequels, not really a fan of the sequels, but the first one is just great. Okay, up next we have Hook from 1991, another Steven Spielberg film, of course featuring Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, Julia Roberts, and Bob Hoskins. Up next we have Howard the Duck from 1986, William Hike film. Of course, Pan is one of the worst movies of the 80s, but I love this film with Leah Thompson and Jeffrey Jones. Howard the Duck, awesome. Okay, up next we have Hugo from 2011 on Blu-ray, 3D Blu-ray. Great Martin Scorsese film with Chloe Grace Moretz. Yeah, set in Paris, really about the early pioneering film, Georges Méliès, played by Ben Kingsley. Just a really surprising and really good movie. Up next we have Inner Space from 1987. Fantastic Joe Dante film, of course, with Dennis Quaid, Martin Short, and Meg Ryan. Who hasn't wanted to shrink down into a little submarine and fly around in somebody's body? Up next we have Kindergarten Cop, Ivan Reitman film from 1990, of course, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Up next we have Lassie Come Home from 1943 with Roddy McDowall, Donald Crisp, and a very young Elizabeth Taylor. Oh God, I hate it when they get stuff together like this. Okay, up next we have The Last Mimsy from 2007. Yeah, really fun and surprising film from that year, directed by Bob Shaye. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. The girl in it, the young sister is really good. Up next we have The Last Starfighter from 1984. Yeah, great film, starring Lance Guest, Daniel Herlihy, and Catherine Mary Stewart. Of course, about a guy who ends up in a real-life video game. Up next we have Mary Poppins, of course, classic from 1964, with Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke. One of the great Disney films, live-action Disney films of all time. Wonderful music, great animation scenes, just a joyous film from beginning to end. Okay, up next we have Masters of the Universe from 1987. Yeah, I was a huge fan of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe growing up as a kid, the cartoon show and the action figures. I used to collect all those. This film with Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella isn't great, but it has its moments. Frank Langella is really good as Skeletor. I heard that they were going to remake this film like back in the day, and I haven't heard much about that since, so I don't know if that's still happening or not. I never got into the new version of Masters of the Universe, the cartoon. Anyway, moving on, we have The Muppets, the 2011 film on Blu-ray. Yeah, great script written by Jason Segel, who of course stars in the movie. Amy Adams, wonderful, and Chris Cooper, and great to see all the Muppets back. And I also picked up the sequel from 2014 with Ricky Gervais, Ty Burrell, and Tina Fey. Not as good as the first one, but still pretty fun. Up next, we have the Night at the Museum trilogy with Ben Stiller, the first one from 2006, probably the best of the franchise. Actually, no, I like Battle of the Smithsonian, the second one, the best, from 2009. I loved Amy Adams as Amelia Earhart. Of course, you've got Robin Williams as Teddy Roosevelt, and Clive Owen, and what's his name, really good as Jebediah and Octavius. Trying to remember the actor's name who played him. It wasn't Hank Azaria. I forget his name anyway. British actor. And I have the third one on Blu-ray from 2014, Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb. Probably my least favorite of the bunch. Okay, I'll skip the this monkey mischief that came with the first one, so I won't bother talking about that. Okay, up next we have One of Our Dinosaurs is Missing, from 1975, British Walt Disney film. This is the Region 2 Blu-ray. Really fun film with Peter Ustinov and Helen Hayes. Loved it growing up as a kid. Still loads of fun. Kind of cheesy and offensive in parts, but still a cool film. Up next we have Peter Pan from 2003. Yeah, really good film. I liked it a lot better than Pan, the recent Pan film that came out a year or two ago. Yeah, good film. Even better than The Hook, I think. Okay, up next we have Return to Oz from 1985, sort of the pseudo-sequel to The Wizard of Oz, of course, with Fairuza Balk. Yeah, it had some scary moments in this film, from what I remember, but I loved it growing up, and still a great movie. Okay, up next we have Saving Mr. Banks on Blu-ray. Yeah, really good film with Emma Thompson and Tom Hanks, of course, about the making of Mary Poppins. Yeah, great duo these two make, Tom Hanks and Emma Thompson, two of my favorites. Yeah, really good film. I didn't really understand the whole Colin Farrell aspect of the story, and I didn't love that part of this film, but still a good movie. Up next we have Short Circuit from 1986 with Ali Sheedy and Steve Guttenberg. Classic, of course, from the 80s. Just a great film. And I also have the sequel, Short Circuit 2, from 1988, which, again, I haven't seen in ages. Okay, up next we have Space Camp, also from 1986. Yeah, fantastic movie with Kate Capshaw, Leah Thompson, Kelly Preston, and Lee Phoenix. Loved this growing up. Yeah, about these kids who visit the space station at Cape Canaveral, and then end up getting shot up into space in the rocket and have to sort of fight their way to survive and get back home. Up next, we have Speed Racer from 2008. Yeah, interesting film, directed by the Wachowski brothers with Emile Hirsch. A good supporting cast: John Goodman, Susan Sarandon, Christina Ricci. Great visuals, but yeah, it wasn't great, but still a cool looking movie. Up next, we have Stand By Me. Deluxe edition, of course, from 1986, classic Rob Reiner film, one of the best films of the 80s, one of my favorites. Will Wheaton, River Phoenix, Corey Feldman, Jerry O'Connell, who of course grew up to be a good-looking dude. Kiefer Sutherland, John Cusack, just a fantastic film. The narration by Richard Dreyfuss, the song by Benny King. Everything about this movie I just adore. Okay, up next we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original film, or original movie if you like, from 1990, with, what's her name? I'm completely blanking on her name. It's Leah Thompson, isn't it? May have that wrong. Judith Hoag, sorry. And Elias Koteas, good actor, appeared in some great movies in the 80s. Alright, moving on, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Blu-ray, of course, the live-action film directed by Michael Bay from a couple years ago now, 2013 or 2014. Yeah, this film surprised me with, what's the name, Megan Fox. It has its moments, some good action scenes. I haven't seen the sequel, I don't even know what the subtitle is. Something Out of the Shadows. Out of the Shadows, is it? Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. So if you've seen that, let me know how that is. Okay, up next we have Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Of course, very sad that Gene Wilder passed away a couple weeks ago. Fantastic film from 1971. Probably the film he's most well known for outside of his work with Mel Brooks. Yeah, based on the book by Roald Dahl. Yeah, just heartbreaking really that he passed away recently. Okay, up next we have The Witches from 1990. Yeah, another film based on the book by Roald Dahl, starring Angelica Houston. Yeah, really fun. Loved it growing up as a kid as well. That's sort of the common theme of all these movies. And up next we have The Wizard from 1989 with Fred Savage, Christian Slater, Beau Bridges. Yeah, really good film if you're into video games. Yeah, cool movie. Okay, up next we have The Wizard of Oz, 3-disc collector's edition from 1939. Just fantastic, of course. Judy Garland, unbelievable. Just a great film, and I know Ian Forkaball loves that film. It's his favorite of all time. And last but not least, we have The Yearling from 1946. Yeah, really good film with Gregory Peck and Jane Wyman. So there you have my family section. Up next will be the fantasy section. So thank you for watching as always, and until next time, I'll see ya.